All right, everyone, welcome. Today, we're going to tackle one of the most fundamental concepts in all of physiology, the cardiac cycle. We're going to go deep into the engine of life itself, uncovering how a tiny electrical spark commands a powerful mechanical pump, sustaining us with every single beat. By the end of this, you'll see how beautifully it all fits together.
So how are we going to break this down? Well, here's the game plan. We'll start with the heart's own electrical grid, the conduction system. Then we'll see how that electricity drives the mechanical pump. After that, we'll put it all together in the famous Wigger's diagram, and finally, we'll analyze the heart's incredible efficiency using pressure-volume loops.
So where does a heartbeat even begin? It doesn't start with a muscle contracting on its own. Nope, it all starts with a spark. Every single beat is kicked off by an electrical signal, an incredibly precise cascade that travels through a specialized network, setting the entire mechanical process in motion.
This image here shows that network perfectly. You can think of it as the heart's own internal wiring. It's a high-speed system designed to make sure the contraction is perfectly coordinated and efficient, starting from the top chambers, the atria, and moving down to the ventricles. So let's follow the path of that impulse.
Okay, here are the key players. The signal is born in the sinoatrial node, or SA node. That's the heart's natural pacemaker. From there, it spreads across the atria, telling them to contract, and makes its way to the atrioventricular, or AV node. Now, the AV node is like a crucial gatekeeper. It holds the signal for just a fraction of a second before sending it down the bundle of His, through the bundle branches, and then out through the super-fast Purkinje fibers to the big ventricular muscles.
Now this is where the real elegance of the system comes in. Look at the timing. See that 0.1 second delay at the AV node? Why is that tiny pause so important? Well, it's all about perfect timing. That delay gives the atria just enough time to finish their contraction, to give that final push of blood into the ventricles before the real powerhouses, the ventricles, are told to contract. It's a genius design.
If we zoom all the way down to the cellular level, what we're really talking about is an action potential. And the key thing you absolutely have to remember about the cardiac action potential is its long plateau phase. This is what gives the heart muscle a long, sustained contraction to really push blood out effectively. It also makes it impossible for the heart to cramp up, which, as you can imagine, would be catastrophic.
All right, so we've got the spark. Now let's talk about the engine it drives. How does this beautiful electrical cascade translate into the powerful physical pump that we all know as the heartbeat?
Mechanically speaking, the cycle is really broken into two big phases. You have systole, which is the period of contraction and ejection of blood, and you have diastole, the period of relaxation and filling. This table lays it out pretty clearly. During systole, the ventricles squeeze, so the AV valves have to be shut tight, and the semilunar valves have to be open to let blood out. In diastole, everything is reversed to allow the ventricles to fill back up.
We can actually break it down even further into these 5 distinct phases. It kicks off with the atria giving a final little squeeze, a top-off for the ventricles. Then, the ventricles begin to contract against closed valves, building up immense pressure. That pressure forces the semilunar valves open, leading to a powerful ejection of blood. After that, the ventricles relax, pressure plummets, and finally, they just passively fill with blood again, getting ready for the next beat. Okay, so we've got electrical signals, mechanical events, pressure changes, volume shifting. It's a lot to keep track of, I know. But don't worry, there is an incredibly powerful tool that lets us see how all these pieces fit together in real time. And that's the Wigger's diagram.
So let's build this thing piece by piece. First, we lay down our timeline, which is the electrocardiogram, or ECG. The P wave, that first little bump, represents the electrical signal spreading across the atria, atrial depolarization. The big spike, the QRS complex, is the main event, ventricular depolarization. And that final wave, the T wave, is the ventricles electrically resetting or repolarizing. Now watch this. Let's overlay the pressure curves for the left ventricle and atrium. See that? Right after the QRS complex, bam, the pressure in the ventricle skyrockets. This is the magic right here. This is the electrical event directly causing the mechanical event. It's a perfect cause and effect relationship laid out right in front of you.
Next up, let's add the aortic pressure. Now, the aortic valve is like a very stubborn one-way door. It will only open when the pressure inside the ventricle gets higher than the pressure in the aorta. And see that little dip there, the dicrotic notch? That's the sound of that door slamming shut as the aortic valve closes, making sure no blood leaks back into the heart.
And what's happening to the amount of blood, the volume in the ventricle this whole time?
Well, it's doing exactly what you'd think. It drops like a rock during that ejection phase as blood is pumped out. Then, during diastole, the line goes back up as the ventricle passively fills with blood, getting ready for the next powerful squeeze.
And here it is, the whole shebang, the complete Wigger's diagram. We've even added in the heart sounds. S1, that lub sound, is the sound of the AV valves slamming shut at the start of systole. S2, the dub sound, is the semilunar valves closing at the end of systole. This single diagram is truly the Rosetta Stone of cardiac physiology. It ties absolutely everything together on one timeline.
Okay, the Wigger's diagram is fantastic for looking at all these events over time. But what if we want to look at the cycle from a different angle? What if we want to analyze the actual work the heart is doing? For that, we need a different graph, the pressure-volume loop.
The pressure-volume loop is an absolutely brilliant tool for looking at the performance of the left ventricle. Remember, the left ventricle is the real workhorse of the heart, the chamber responsible for pumping oxygenated blood to your entire body. This loop shows us exactly how hard it's working with every single beat.
And here it is. It's a beautiful graphical representation of one complete heartbeat. Each trip around this loop is one cardiac cycle, and the area inside this loop, that's incredibly important. That space represents the actual stroke work done by the ventricle. So let's take a walk around the loop point by point.
All right, let's trace it. We start at point A. From A to B, the ventricle is filling with blood, so volume goes up, but pressure stays low. Then, from B to C is isovolumetric contraction. All the valves are shut, so the volume can't change, but the pressure shoots straight up. At C, the aortic valve bursts open, and we get ejection from C to D. Volume goes down as blood is pumped out. And finally, from D back to A, we have isovolumetric relaxation. The aortic valve shuts, volume is again fixed, and the pressure just plummets, getting us ready to start the whole cycle over.
So what's one of the most crucial clinical measures we can get from this loop? Stroke volume. That's the amount of blood the heart pumps out with each beat. It's a key indicator of cardiac health. And on this diagram, it's incredibly easy to see. It's simply the width of the loop.
So when you put it all together, it's hard not to be amazed. The cardiac cycle is truly a masterpiece of biological engineering. You have this perfect symphony of electrical signals, mechanical events, and pressure changes, all working in flawless harmony to keep us alive, beat after beat after beat.
And this is why understanding the normal cycle is so critical, because it gives us the foundation to ask the really important clinical questions. What happens when things go wrong? How does just one faulty valve or one blocked artery throw this entire elegant machine into chaos? This is where physiology becomes pathology, and where your journey to becoming a great clinician truly begins.